Hey guys, in today's episode, I don't talk about intentionality. Now, I've had a bit of an epiphany or a bit of an awakening in my training, and I know it sounds stupid and it's probably a silly little thing, but I wanted to share it with you because I think it's going to make a big difference. And it's a bit of a long-winded story, but I'll get to the point. Last Thursday, I didn't go for my usual run in the morning. 99% of my running is done with me falling out of bed 4:30 in the morning, out the door before 5 o'clock, and running around near my house in the dark. Pitch black, head torch on, dog on the arm, and going. Thursday, didn't get up in the morning. Felt like garbage, didn't do it. Sorted out with the wife that I would go on Thursday night after work. So drove into town, drove to the Esplanade, and on the way there, so from my work, it's about a half-hour drive back and forth. And I listen to podcasts back and forth to kill the time. Occasionally I record one of these videos. And I was listening to a podcast called the Inside Running Podcast, which I've just gotten onto. Reason why I started listening to it is because one of the three members is a bloke from my hometown in Ballarat. And they were talking about their training and their sessions, and when they go out to do a hard session, talking about their mindset that they get in and all of that sort of stuff. And it really sort of struck me, and it struck a chord. And they were talking about, you know, what they go through when they're thinking, when they're going to run hard and run fast. And so then I went straight into this session. The session was 1 minute of pace, 2 minutes rest, and just I think it was 7 repeats of that. I went into the session thinking about what I'd heard on that podcast and thinking about, well, how I was going to run and how my foot strike felt and how everything was going. And at the end of that session, even though it was only a short, you know, there was only 7 minutes of effort in there, I was absolutely spent. And it's the best running session that I have had in so long. And I thought, geez, I've got to do that more often. I've got to really focus on those speed sessions. So I made a bit of a mindset change. When I am scheduling those speed sessions where I'm working on strength and speed work, I'm going to go away from a house, which is very hilly, good for easy runs, good for loops. But I'm going to head to the Esplanade where it's flat, where I can do those sessions and focus on the technique and the form and actually focus on my running. That's the first part. Then the next day I got up and went for my ride. My ride that day was 4 intervals, supposed to be 6-minute intervals in zone 3. So pushing at that higher tempo, and then a couple of minutes rest in between. I got halfway through the second rep and I was nowhere near zone 3. I'm sitting there going, well, why am I doing this? This is a waste of my time. This feels like crap. The friggin' hell am I doing? And then I started reflecting back on the ride and on what I'd done the night before and how I'd had such a great session the night before because I was thinking all about what I should have been thinking about my technique, thinking about staying in control. And then I started reflecting on, well, okay, let's go back to how this ride was planned and what I thought about this ride. And I realized that I literally got to the end of my street and decided whether to go left or right. I hadn't planned anything, I hadn't thought, I had no intentionality behind what I was going to do on the bike. And that's why I was hating the session, because I had work to do, there was a purpose behind it, but I hadn't pre-thought about that. I switched then and there. The second half of that session, again, best bike session I have done in a long time, because I switched my mindset, intentionality behind what I wanted to do, and I was intentional about putting that power down and putting the effort into those intervals. And so coming home from that, I've made a couple of, basically a significant mindset change in how I'm going to do it. I've been ticking the boxes on a training program. I've been just going, all right, well, this is what's next. This is what has to happen on this day. This is how it needs to work. Now, I'm going to look at every individual session and go, okay, well, what am I doing this for? What am I getting this out of this? An example, what I'm doing now. I'm on my way to go for a run. We're going to do a loop of a couple of the hills, the Arrows in town here in Cairns. And the intention is purely just to hang out with my mate. So the run itself is not going to be hard. It's just an excuse to hang out with somebody. And that's okay. That's the intention behind this session. I had a session earlier on today where the intention was to get as many Ks in the legs as I could and be pushing myself. So my legs are pretty dead. I'm pretty tired, but I knew from that session what I wanted to get out of it. And before I went, I planned, well, where am I going to run? How am I going to get those Ks in the legs? What loop am I going to go on? And knowing beforehand and being able to think about what I wanted to get out of that training session. And it's working well so far. I'm hoping it can continue to work, and I'll keep you updated with how I go. But really, the minimal evidence that I have so far is that having some sort of intention behind what you're doing is just vital with every session. Not just, I want to do an Ironman, or I want to do this race at the end of my training program. What do I want to get out of this workout here today? What do I want to get out of this now? Right now, going to hang out with a mate, and it's going to be fun. But sometimes it needs to be more than that. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you got something out of it. Alright, see you soon.